Welcome you students. In this video lecture, we shall know about polar moment of inertia, radius of gyration and principal moment of inertia. First of all, let us know about the polar moment of inertia. This polar moment of inertia in the sense sum of area moment of inertia about mutually perpendicular axis in a plane of an area is called polar moment of inertia. That is nothing but the polar moment of inertia IP is equal to moment of inertia about xx plus moment of inertia about yy, other two perpendicular axes. Sum of area moment of inertia about the mutually perpendicular axis in a plane, which is known as polar moment of inertia. This polar moment of inertia is the moment of inertia about the third axis. IP is nothing but, otherwise it can be called as the third axis IZAZ. Okay, so this is just equal to the perpendicular axis theorem, right? So perpendicular axis theorem is otherwise known as polar moment of inertia. So here, to understand it in a better way, I just draw an axis mutually perpendicular to each other. So here x-axis, y-axis, and here it is z-axis. Okay, and I just going to consider an area. Okay, this is with an area A, and I just going to have this small part here, and this point is a centroid of it, and for this particular element I just going to consider dA as an area, and the distance from the OX axis is y, and distance from OY axis is x, right? And with respect to AZ, which is AZ, I going to consider it. And now if I take the polar moment of inertia is nothing but it's a second moment of area. Am I right? It's a second moment. That means area into square of its perpendicular distance. So IZZ or IP can be taken as IZZ, right? IZZ. So its perpendicular distance is AZ square into its area, which is dA, area into the perpendicular distance. Okay, so here if I take it for the whole area A, then it will be integral. So here what comes, if I consider, look at this, if I want to simplify it, if I consider the triangle, this is a triangle, okay, right? If I consider this as a triangle, here this distance is z, this distance is y, and this distance is x, parallel distance, it is x. So here z square is given, z square into dA. So z square, as per the Pythagoras theorem, if I take it, z square is equal to, for this triangle, h square plus y square. Am I right? If I take it, h square plus y square. So if I put here integral of, in the place of z square, h square plus y square into dA, again if I do the simplification, it will become h square into dA plus y square into dA, right? So just try to bring back to your mind, what do you mean by x square into dA? H square into dA is nothing but moment of inertia about xx axis. What about the y square into dA? It is nothing but moment of inertia about yy axis. So here it is the proof. This is how the third axis IZZ or IP, which is equal to IXX plus IYY. So when you are having the IXX and IYY, that mutually perpendicular axis finding out is very easy. Just do the sum of IXS and IYY. It says the IZ, which is nothing but polar moment of inertia. Okay, fine. Let us move to the next one, which is the radius of gyration. Now to understand it, I will start with an example. So consider here a area. Okay, this is with an area A, and I just going to have a point which is the centroid of it. Okay, and just have a parallel line which I going to consider it as XX, and its distance between the centroid and the parallel line is Y. So if I take the moment of inertia for this particular axis about XX, I can say IXX, which is equal to area into its perpendicular distance. Its perpendicular distance is Y. So it will be Y square into A, right? Y square into A. It's a general one. So here what I'm going to do is I just going to concentrate this area A into a strip. Just listen it. I just going to concentrate this area into a strip. So in other way, that particular area in a negligible size, I just going to take with the same area into a strip, right? So here as well, I just going to consider an axis XX just parallel to its centroid. So here this is with a distance, strip, and this axis XX with K, because I don't know exactly what is the measurement. Okay, I just concentrated into a strip, so I don't know the exact measurement between the strip and this X, but the area is A. Okay, so here if I give the moment of inertia about XX axis, I can say IXX is equal to area into its perpendicular distance. Here the perpendicular distance is K. So K square into A. So I can say K square is equal to, if I do the cross multiplication, since the K is need to be identified what is the measurement, I just going to take in terms of K. So it will be IXX divided by A doing the cross multiplication. If I do simplification, it will be square root of IXX divided by A. So this K is nothing but radius of gyration. Actually, this radius of gyration, in the sense it is a distance, so we get in terms of meter or mm or centimeter. Okay, unit is a meter. It's just a distance between the axis and the concentrated string. Now if you read it out, you will get what it is given. If an area A having the moment of inertia about an axis XX, okay, if an area A having the moment of inertia about IXX is concentrated into a strip, okay, it is concentrated into a strip and is placed parallel to the XX, okay, it is placed between parallel to the XX at a distance k, such that it has the moment of inertia I, then K is known as the radius of gyration. For that we took the moment of inertia. So at that time that K will be the radius of gyration. Okay, so I hope you understood. Next we shall move to the next title, and the next one is principal moment of inertia. For example, see, I have taken the scale and I just hold it at both the ends, and I just going to give the load or force on the both ends. What is happening? Just it is bending. Okay, now I just going to turn the position and I just going to keep like this manner. Okay, so if I give the similar fashion, if I give the force, I could not able to just bend the scale. Okay, so this is because of moment of inertia. Moment of inertia in the sense it is nothing but resistance to the bend or rotation. So whenever having any kind of material like scale or any kind of material, it has two principal moment of inertia. That means one will be the maximum moment of inertia and the minimum moment of inertia. So when I kept like this, there the moment of inertia resistant force is very minimum. Okay, when I keep like this, the moment of inertia is very high. This is the maximum here. In this particular manner, when I keep it, maximum moment of inertia is acting, and here minimum moment of inertia is acting. So I can say the maximum and minimum moment of inertia of a plane lamina are known as principal moment of inertia. Okay, so actually this maximum and minimum moment of inertia, maximum or minimum, can be calculated by the formula Ixx moment of inertia about x-axis plus Iyy moment of inertia about y-axis divided by 2 plus or minus, I will say why it is being given as plus or minus, Ixx plus Iyy divided by 2 the whole square plus Ixy product moment of inertia the whole square. If you are in need of calculating the maximum moment of inertia, then you have to add it. If you are in need of calculating the minimum moment of inertia, maximum and minimum, okay, minimum moment of inertia, then we need to subtract it. That's why here I have given plus or minus. Okay, this is the, so any material is there, it has the maximum moment of inertia and minimum moment of inertia. It is based upon the position of it or orientation of the object. Okay, then it is the principal axis. Principal axis is the axis about which the moment of inertia is either maximum or minimum is known as principal axis. The axis about which the moment of inertia is either maximum or minimum, which is known as principal axis. Okay, so that means, for example, I can show this is the object rectangle. So for this, if I take the moment of the centroid of it, here it will be, okay, so this is how the axis will be. This will be xx and this will be the yy axis. Okay, let it be. So in order to identify it, the formula is tan 2 theta, which is equal to minus 2 Ixy divided by Ixx minus Iyy. Okay, from this we can find out the theta. That means always you remember perpendicular axis xx and yy will be always 90 degree. So if you get the maximum principal axis as what the theta value somewhere here, okay, this is the I max that you have obtained as a theta value, then the minimum moment of inertia will be somewhere here, which is nothing but just perpendicular to, just 90 degree to each other. Okay, just 90 degree to this I max. So here will be I minimum. So you will get theta value, okay, that will be the I max. And if you add, in order to find out the angle of I minimum, theta plus 90 degree, you will get the location for I minimum. Okay, so this is how we need to place it. So here I said you, if you are having a plane figure or any kind of object, it has a moment of inertia maximum and minimum. Based upon the position, it is changing. Okay, so in order to identify it, we have the formula tan 2 theta is equal to minus 2 ixy divided by ixx minus iyy. xy is nothing but product of inertia, product moment of inertia, and iyy is a moment of inertia about y axis. Ixx is nothing but moment of inertia about xx centroidal axis. Okay, and then here it is given I max and minimum. Max in the sense major axis, this is a minor axis. Okay, let it be. So here, in order to position the maximum moment of inertia, we have the formula tan 2 theta is equal to minus 2 ixy by ixx minus iyy. So here you will get it, theta. And then minimum moment of inertia, if you need to position it, if you need to position the object, then that particular angle will be theta plus 90 degree. This is perpendicular to each other. So theta plus 90 degree, you can position the I minimum. Okay, so I hope you understood. Thank you so much.